Okay, so today we are talking about inscribed angles. An inscribed angle is an angle with its vertex on the circle. Yeah. Okay, and then it has two sides that are chords. So an intercepted arc is the arc that lies between the endpoints of an inscribed angle.
Good morning, warriors. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, so like I was saying, the degree of an inscribed angle is equal to half the measure of the intercepted arc. So this angle here is 1/2 of this angle right here. So if I'm going from the angle to the arc, I want to times by 2. And if I'm going from the arc to the angle, I want to divide by 2. So the next thing I have is intercepting a diameter. So notice that my intercepted arc makes this diameter across the circle. It is a 90-degree angle whenever this happens. Oops, this one I wanted to say right. And then the space below is 90. The next thing is overlapping arcs. So notice that I have this angle right here, and then I also have this one right here that both equal BC. These two angles are going to be congruent. So the measure of angle ABD, oh, I did this the wrong way, is the same as, should have wrote that. Let's ignore this picture because I highlighted it. ABD is this one, and then it should be equal to the other angle, ACD. So on number 1, it wants me to find the measure of angle WXY. So this angle right here. I'm going from the arc to the angle, so I want to divide by 2. I'm going to take 62 and divide by 2. So if I go to Desmos, it gives me 31 for my answer. Okay. So on number 2, it wants me to say the arc length of DGF. This one I am going from the angle to arc, so I want to times this by 2. Which gets me 226. On number 3, this makes a diameter. So this one, PQR, is going to be 90 degrees. Because the straight line is 180, half of 180 is, yeah. Number 4 wants me to say the measure of arc BC, which is right here. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm first going to find the measure of arc AC, and then I'm going to subtract from 180 because there's a straight line one right here. So to go from the angle to the arc, I want to multiply by 2. Which will get me 94. Then to find the yellow part, I know that this line straight across makes it 180. So I'm going to take that 180 and subtract the 94 to figure out BC. So I know this ends up being 94, and I want to figure out the yellow part. So I'm going to do 180 minus 94, which gets me 86. Number 5 wants me to find the measure of JKL, so that angle right there. I currently know 2 of my arc lengths, so what I can do is I can find this arc length by taking 360 and subtracting the 2 amounts I know, because they make a full circle. So I'm going to do 360 minus 53 minus 65, which gives me 242. So that's the arc length, not the angle length. I need to go inside to go smaller, so I want to divide by 2. So I want to take the 242 and divide by 2. Which gets me 121. Number 6 wants me to find RST. So I'm going to read the angle before I highlight first. This one, again, I know most of my outside arc lengths. I'm going to subtract them from 360 to figure out the arc length for RT. So I'm going to go type this into decimals. Which gets me 82 for the arc length. So then to go back to the angle, I want to divide by 2. Which gets me 41. Then I want to figure out the measure of angle RUT, which has the same arc. So when I go back to the angle, I'm dividing by 2 again, which is going to give me back the same angle. So this one is also 41 degrees. Questions on this one? So number 7 wants me to solve for x. What I can do here is okay, I see. This angle is going here. So I know that to go from here to here, I times by 2. So I'm going to take the stuff in parentheses and multiply by 2 and set it equal to the arc length. So then what do you guys want me to do next? two different things I can do here. Both will give me the same answer. So what do you guys want me to do with this 2? Okay, I can distribute it. So 2 times 8 is 16. And then 2 times 9, negative 18, equals 158. The other thing I could have done was I could have started off and divided both sides by 2. Both will get me the same answer in the end. Then to solve this equation, I want to go ahead and add 18 to both sides. So I get 16x on the left. And I don't know what 158 plus 18 is, so I'm going to go to Desmos. Which gets me 176. Then to get x alone, I want to divide both sides by 16. Then I can go to Desmos and divide. Which gets me 11. This question only wanted me to find x, so I don't have to plug back in. So number 2, again, wants me to solve for x. I'm going to go from this angle to here, and I multiply by 2. So this time it's the 67 that's being multiplied by 2. And it equals 4x plus 58. So then I want to figure out what 67 times 2 is, which gets me 134 for my left side, and it still equals 4x plus 58. Then I want to subtract 58 from both sides, which will cancel out on my right. And then I need to go to Desmos to figure out what I get on the left. Which gives me 76. Then I want to go ahead and divide by 4 on both sides. Which gets me x equals 19. It's okay. So moving on to the next side. I have this one that wants me to solve for x. This is a diameter, So I know that this angle is going to equal 90 degrees. So I can just start off by setting this equal to 90. Then I want to go ahead and add 1 to both sides. I got 13x equals 91. And then I can go to decimals and divide 91 by 13, which gives me 7. Okay. So number 10, I know this arc length is... Nope. Nope. Yep. Okay. So on this one, I want to figure out what this angle is. I know that this arc length is 78. So I want to find half of 78 by dividing by 2. Which gets me 39. So if I redraw this triangle so it's not as tight, I have 39 right there, 114 here, and then I have the 7x plus 6 right there in that corner. Remember that triangles always add up to 180 degrees. So what I want to do is I want to take all 3 of these values and add up to 180. So I'm going to have 114 plus 39 plus the 7x plus 6 equals 180. Then I want to combine my terms. So I'm going to add the 114, the 39, and the 6 together. Which gives me 159. No. I feel like I did this yesterday too. Then I want to go ahead and subtract 159 on both sides. So I get 7x equals, I don't know what that is. Ooh, no. 21. And then I want to, it's not. I subtracted 159 on both sides, and then I got 7x equals 21. So what I want to do next is divide both sides by 7 to get x equals 3. On number 11, it wants me to solve for x. I know these two arc lengths, but not the one that would help me with x. So what I can do is I can subtract those lengths from 360. Which gets me 106 for the arc length that matches up with this. So remember, I multiply by 2 to get to the arc length. So I'm going to have 2 times the 7x minus 10 equals 106. Then I want to distribute this too. So 2 times 7 is 14x. 2 times negative 10 gives me negative 20. Still equals 106. Then I want to go ahead and add 20 to both sides. This gets me 14x equals 126. Then I want to go ahead and divide both sides by 14. So I'm going to go to decimals, which gets me 9. Okay, for number 12, I have 2 of my arc lengths, and I'm missing this third one, so I could find this third one to get my arc lengths to add up to 360. So remember, I want to multiply by 2 to turn this into the big one. $67 times 2 is not a number I know. Gets me 134. So that's the missing arc length right here. Now I have all of my outside lengths to add up to equal a circle. So I'm going to add 120, 134, and the 5x plus 21, and set it equal to 360. So I want to go ahead and combine like terms. I'm going to add the 120, the 134, and the 21. Which gets me 275. want to go ahead and subtract 275 from both sides. So I got 5x on the left, and I need to subtract on the right. Which gets me 85. So then I want to divide both sides by 5. Which gets me 17. So number 13 tells me angle FGH is 6x plus 21. And the arc length FJH is 17x minus 28. It wants me to find the measure of the arc. So this means plug back in x. So remember, to go from the angle to the arc, I want to multiply by 2. So I'm going to take 2 times the 6x plus 21 and equal it to 17x plus 28. So I first want to start off by distributing this 2. I'm going to have 12x, and then 2 times 21 is 42. Still equals the same stuff on the left side. Then I want to get all of my variables over to the same side, so I'm going to subtract 12x from both sides. Which will get me 42 alone on the left. And then 17 minus 12 is 5. Oh, this is a minus 28. My bad. So then I want to add the 28 to both sides. (42 plus 28 is 70. It still equals the 5x. Then I want to go ahead and divide both sides by 5. Which gets me 14. And then I wanted to plug back in x for the FJH. So I'm going to do 17 times 14 minus 28. And I can type this exactly like I wrote it into Desmos. So I can do 17 parentheses the 14 minus 28, and it gives me my final answer of 210. So same thing on number 14. It tells me that the angle is 5x minus 16, and that the arc is 12x minus 50. So remember, to go from the angle to the arc, I multiply by 2. So I'm going to take that and multiply by 2 and set it equal to the arc length. Then I'm going to do 2 times 5x, which gets me 10x. 2 times negative 16 gets me negative 32. And then I set it equal to the 12x minus 50. Then I want to get all of my x's over to the same side, so I'm going to subtract 10x on both sides. This is going to get me negative 32 on the left, and then 12 minus 10 is 2x minus 50. Then I want to go ahead and add 50 to both sides, which will get me 18 equaling 2x. Then I want to go ahead and divide both sides by 2. I get x equals 9. Just like before, it wants me to plug in. This time I'm plugging into the angle. So I'm going to have 5 times 9 minus 16. So then I will go ahead and just type this whole thing into Desmos. I'm going to do 5 times 9 minus 16, which gives me 29 for my final answer. Number 15 tells me ABD is 6x plus 26. And then it tells me ACD is 13x minus 9. So because they go to the same arc, they're the same angle measure. So I want to just set these two together. So I want to start off by getting all of my x's over to the same side. I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. This gets me 26 on the left, 7x minus 9 on the right. Then I want to go ahead and add 9 to both sides. So 26 plus 9 gives me 35. Then I want to go ahead and divide both sides by 7, which will get me x equals 5. This wants me to find the arc length, not the angle measure. Arc. It doesn't matter which angle I plug into. I just need to plug into one of them because they are the same. So I am just going to pick the 6x because it came first. So I'm going to have 6 times 5 plus 26. Which I can go to Desmos and type in. Gets me 56. This is the angle, so I need to go ahead and double it. So then I would just go to Desmos and do 2 times 56. Which gets me 112. So number 16 tells me KJL is 3x plus 2. KLJ is 7x minus 32. And then I know that this one is a right angle, so that's going to be 90 degrees. So I want to add up all three of my angles and set it equal to 180. So then I want to combine like terms. I have 3x and 7x. Which will give me 10x. Then I want to add 2, negative 32, and 90. So I'm going to go to Desmos, which gets me 60. And I want to subtract 60 on both sides. This gets me 10x equals 120. I want to divide both sides by 10. I get x equals 12. I want to find the arc length of KL, so I'm going to plug into KJL. Which, if I plug into Desmos, nope, plus 2, gets me 38 for the angle, and then I just double to turn it back into the arc. So I times by 2, which gets me 76 for my final answer.